guest today is Mike Robbins, a former baseball star with Stanford University and the Kansas City Royals. Mike is a well-known author, public speaker, personal development expert, and he's the author of 2 books, Focus on the Good Stuff, The Power of Appreciation, and Be Yourself Because Everybody Else is Taken.
I grew up here in the Bay Area, up in Oakland, and I actually got drafted by the New York Yankees out of high school.
Wow.
Didn't end up signing with the Yankees because I got a scholarship to play just down the road at Stanford, which was a dream for me. I got the chance to pitch in the College World Series. Got drafted by the Kansas City Royals, signed a pro contract at 21. All I ever wanted to do since I was a little kid was, pitch in the major leagues. Unfortunately, my 3rd season in the minors with Kansas City, I went out to pitch one night, threw one pitch, tore ligaments in my elbow, blew my arm out. And I came back to the Bay Area, got a job in the .com world. It was the late 90s, and that's sort of what everybody was doing.
Interesting.
Rode the .com wave for a couple years. .com bubble burst. I lost my job. And what ultimately those 2 experiences, both hurting my arm and my baseball career ending, and then, losing my .com job, which I wasn't all that passionate about anyway.
Yeah.
But in a very short amount of time, 2 big things happened. And what I realized from that whole experience, and I write a lot about and focus on the good stuff, especially related to my baseball career, was when it was all said and done, my big regret wasn't that I didn't make it to the major leagues. It was I didn't fully appreciate it while it was happening. Our culture, as you know, is just like obsessed with negativity, is obsessed with fear, is obsessed with worry, gossip. I mean, you turn on the news, you read the newspaper, you listen to conversations around the water cooler or at family gatherings. Most of what we're talking about isn't how wonderful things are, how grateful we are, how fantastic it is to see you, how blessed we feel. It's really often about what's wrong, people are complaining about politicians, the economy, people they don't like, whatever the case is. And I think it's easy for all of us to get caught up in that if we're not conscious about it. The challenge for us on our personal journey, whether it's professionally or personally, is in the midst of the struggle, can we see the proverbial silver lining?
Right.
Like right now with what's been going on in the economy is a lot of the companies and organizations that hire me and bring me in, whatever I'm talking to them about, I'm talking some version of dealing with adversity, dealing with change, dealing with uncertainty. And what I say to everybody about it, I said, look, part of what makes right now scary collectively for a lot of people is we don't know how it's going to turn out. Do you know what I mean? We fast forward 5 years, 10 years, we can look back and in hindsight go, oh, well, the downturn and that, in 2008, 2009, 2010, it all made sense. But right now there's people sort of hanging on for dear life, not sure, am I going to lose my job? What's going to happen? But I think the people that are the most relaxed and peaceful in this time are the ones that are embracing the uncertainty and choosing to find the good stuff in the midst of the challenge. There's too much evidence that we can all look at, either anecdotally or even specifically, that says that success and fulfillment isn't about A plus B equals C. There's some other magical element in it that no one can quite describe. In sports, we call it being in the zone. An athlete gets in the zone and can't miss a shot. In basketball, it's like, what the hell is that? Well, it's some phenomenon that happens. And I believe, again, without making it too corny, it's actually a belief and a positive thinking mentality that's genuine, that carries, one person over the next in a situation with equal talent because someone believes it's going to happen.
What would you tell the average person on how they can practice the power of appreciation in their life? What should they do Monday morning?
Well, the first thing that it's important for everybody to do, and why I spend the whole first third of the book talking about what makes it difficult for us to focus on the good stuff, is to take some inventory and tell the truth about the negativity in our own lives. Like, where do we get stuck? Where do we get stopped? Is it gossip? Is it worrying? Is it complaining? Is it being judgmental or comparing ourselves to other people? All very normal, natural things that we do. Notice the negativity. That's the first step. And see where you can start to disengage from it at least a little bit. Start to be aware of it. Because negativity in our culture, Gopi, is kind of like when the air conditioner's on in a room and you think it's quiet. You don't even hear it until it goes off and you go, man, that was loud. The second step is to start to consciously practice being grateful. So asking other people what they're grateful for and thinking about it. Oprah Winfrey's been talking for years about writing in a gratitude journal. Whatever it is, you don't want it to be corny and feel funny for yourself necessarily.
But creating an attitude of gratitude.
Yeah, but it's also creating a simple practice. There's also something, and maybe people saw the movie The Secret or have heard about that. They talk about in the movie, put a gratitude rock in your pocket or in your purse, something you see and touch. It doesn't matter what it is, but something that has you not just once a year or some funny, just on a regular basis. So that's the second piece, gratitude. The third piece is starting to look for ways to acknowledge other people. Now, this is a big one, especially in relationships, whether they're professional relationships or personal ones, is find things about other people that you appreciate and be willing to let them know. We got to do a much better job at appreciating ourselves. So a couple simple things that people can do to start appreciating themselves.
Yeah.
First of all is notice that little gremlin in your head that we all have that's constantly criticizing, you know, everything.
Yeah.
You name it, from like the little voice in my head that will watch this interview after and will critique how I look and how I'm sitting and what's wrong and why did you say that and you were talking too fast, and that one.
He's loud and big and dominant.
Exactly. But start to get familiar with that voice so
Yeah.
you can realize it's just a voice, it's not the truth, to move it aside. But we can start to appreciate ourselves. It's not arrogance, it's not bragging. It's really being able to value ourselves. One simple way we can do it, although not that easy, is when people compliment us, is just to say thank you and receive their compliment. And one of my favorite exercises, and I actually write about this in Be Yourself and do this sometimes in workshops, and this is a little out there for some people, but is to write yourself a letter of appreciation, a real heartfelt, genuine letter. You take it, you fold it up, put it in an envelope, put your name and address on it, put a stamp on it, give it to someone you trust and say, listen, do me a favor, sometime in the next year, and don't tell me when, drop this in the mail. And then sometime, whether it's a week or a month or a year later, you will get this letter in the mail, and it'll be a letter from you, appreciating yourself.
Beautiful.